Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Stories of Friendship. I'm your host, Morris, and today I'm joined by my best friend, Summer Plescia. I've known Summer for 8 to 9 years already, and we've had an amazing friendship. I'm going to have Summer go ahead and briefly introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Summer Plescia. I am one of Morris's best friends. We have a group of four that are completely tied together. Um, I wouldn't change my life at all. I can't see my life without them in it. I live in Southern California. I have three boys, um, and my life revolves around my youngest right now because he's in football and he's still in high school.
Good old Luke. We love Luke. All right, Summer. So let's talk about how we met. This is one of my favorite stories to hear you retell. Tell me about what it was like when we first ran into each other.
So I met you. I went to work at a hospital, and I went in for my IT training. I had joined the hospital as a leader, and they told me I was going to be in the IT training with other nurses and stuff. I didn't have to learn all of the charting and stuff, just how to do audits and such. So I went to this class and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting in the back because some of my new nurses are sitting in the front of me and I don't know anybody. So I'm more of a wallflower. Um, at best, I typically sit in the back. I don't really like to talk too much. And I'm sitting there and I think you asked us to introduce ourselves or something. And I had my Apple Watch on. And Morse instantly was like, "Oh, is that an Apple Watch?" And I was like, yeah." And I kind of like covered it up. And he's like, "Did you do the update?" And I'm like, "Okay," because now everybody in the room is looking at me. So I'm feeling like really awkward at that point. And he keeps, well, and I'm just like, "Well, no, I don't really update it." And he's like, "Oh, well, I got you. Let's take care of it." And he runs to his backpack, gets out his charger, and he's like, "Take your watch off. Take your watch off." And I'm like, "Okay, we're supposed to be in this computer class, and we're supposed to be learning how to use the system here." And Morris is so focused on my watch. So he sits down and then he looks around and he's like, I don't remember who it was. Elizabeth, you know this. Just go ahead and teach them what they need to know. So somebody gets up to teach the class, and Morris is sitting in the back with me, and he's taking my watch and he's charging it, and once it charges enough, he like does the update, and I'm sitting there. I'm not a techie person. So I have an Apple phone and I have an Apple Watch, and I'm good with that. And I don't update anything. Um, and I'm perfectly happy that way. So then I meet Morris, and he's this weirdo that's sitting next to me, taking my watch off my wrist so he can charge it, so he can update it. And I'm like, okay. And so poor Elizabeth is stuck teaching this entire class because the rest of the class Morris spent with me, just talking to me, getting to know me. Little did I know that this guy was going to have one of the biggest impacts on my life. Um, and the group of people that I was going to meet at this small community hospital that doesn't have the best reputation here, and the amazing people that I met through this place. So I met Morris that day, and then it was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, he's kind of cool. Okay, whatever. And then it ended up I needed somebody to come out to my house because I needed access at home. So Morris came to my house, and I remember we had what was it? Just an iMac?
Yes, you had the iMac. Yeah.
We had one of the big Apple computers, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever updated this thing?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it takes too long. I don't do updates because I'll spend forever sitting there waiting for the computer to load." And he's like, oops." And he just looks at me and he's like, "What's for dinner? I'm going to be here for a while." And he instantly became part of my life from that moment on. He's just been a person that we don't talk every day. But I don't think maybe me and Kendall do talk more frequently than everybody else. I'm not sure. Maybe Morris and Kendall talk a lot too, but I don't have to see them. I don't have to talk to them every day to know that they're there no matter what. And I think that goes beyond words when it comes to when you need somebody.
Yeah, I definitely agree that even though we don't talk every day, there's something about knowing that I could call you or I could go to your house. Like I know that you're there for me regardless of how consistent we are showing up every single day. And I think that's interesting with our group of friends because it during the year I always look forward to everything big we do. We do birthdays together. Sometimes we plan random holidays that we'll do something, but we don't necessarily talk every day. And then when we have our meetup, it's like all of it comes out. Well, what have you been doing in the last the last month, the last 2 months? And we finally get a chance to like rebond. But we're also doing some of our favorite things together, which is really cool. And it's honestly, it's there's I have other friends, right? But there's nothing like doing an escape room with you guys. There's nothing like going hiking or whatever it is that we do together. It's always the best with you guys.
And I think we have so many crazy stories that somebody always gets us involved in something that, like our hike to Mount Baldy, Morris. Um, he took us on this hike and he's like, it's an easy hike. Don't worry. Don't worry. Not a big deal. We'll do it. We'll get it done real quick in the morning because our drive. So we all used to run together. That's how our friendship really started. Morris always did escape rooms and it sounded interesting. So um, Kendall and Alex worked under me, and the other David, he worked in radiology, but we all worked for the same hospital. And I don't remember how we all first went out. I think it was just an escape room. And Morris is like, you know what? Let's go. Let's just go to an escape room. Um, I don't know how Alex got stuck with us in our group, but I was like, Kendall, let's go. And then we asked Alex, and then David doesn't really do escape rooms, so he never went with us to the escape rooms. But then we started getting into running. So we would do 5Ks. Of course, Morris and David would smoke us. They'd be sitting there waiting at the finish line for like an hour by the time me and Kendall crossed it. Me, Kendall, and Alex, typically the three of us stay together when we did our runs, and we'd always finish together. Well, me and Kendall would always finish together. Alex would always run ahead, right? When we got to the finish line, he would like jam it to the end so that he could beat us. But we went on this hike. I remember Morris talked us into this hike. So our drive for our runs was we would always find like the best place to eat. We would always go out to breakfast, or if it was around lunchtime, we'd go to lunch or whatever. But that was always the end deal, is like, well, where are we going to eat? And we're sweaty, we all stink, we're hot, but we're eating like there is no diets, there is nothing in our worries, because we just ran, whether it be a 5K, the 15Ks that we actually did pull off, no matter what, we were eating like kings. So Morris talked us into this hike. So we get there, and I'm like the negative Nancy, I think, in our group, because I'm like, okay, Alex doesn't ever say anything. He's just like the Kendall's always positive. She's always got bananas for everybody or extra
Mama
sauce,
Kendall.
whatever. So we go on this hike, and the whole time I'm cussing Morris out, because it's not just a hike. It is like the biggest incline. We're like hiking up to Mount Baldy. So we end up there where the resort is. And he's like, well, we can keep going. I'm like, oh, hell no, we're not. I'm done. I was hot. I was tired. We had been, how long were we out there? A couple
Probably
hours.
4 hours.
But I was like, and the hike down was easier, but it was hot. And I remember just complaining. I was hot. We all had water. We all had stuff with us, but it was just, it's in those moments that we do stupid things and we complain the whole time. But at the end, anytime one of us pulls out and says, you know what, let's do this run, or like me and Kendall talk about it, we actually need to do it to get back to running, because we both kind of fell off. I know Alex has too. But it's like it just takes one of us to push the other one to do it, and everybody jumps on. And then we do these crazy things like trips to San Francisco for a run. Trips to San Diego just for a run. We did runs for a while. My biggest drive on those was I wanted the medals. So I would find the runs with the coolest medals. And then we'd all go to wherever the run was, and we'd run these medals, run for these medals. So that there was a hot chocolate run we did consecutively for a couple of years. and one of them took us out to San Francisco. Our next goal was to go to Chicago, because that's where Alex was from, because Alex had done that one and we were going to go do it again. And those were 15Ks, because in order to get the big cool medal, you had to run 15 kilometers instead of, what was it, 5?
Yes,
The
yes, yes,
5. And I remember your mom even joined us on the last San Diego one we did. She did the 5 with us,
which was her first.
her first.
Yes, her first 5K. Yes.
But our adventures are, they're never boring, even if it's just for an hour. We got together for Alex's birthday just a couple days ago, and it's, even if it's just dinner and somehow we always squeeze an escape room in, it's always amazing. It's like there's no time ever lost between us.
So I want to get into because I think the audience can hear how we've bonded over the years, and this is from work. We all worked at the same hospital, and we bonded through the hard times. Obviously, at the hospital, there were some things that we went through together, and I think we formed close relationships. And then the cool part is you and I got to work together a lot from the IT component as to what the nurses were supposed to chart, right? So we had to work together quite frequently, and we went to a lot of the same meetings. And then Kendall worked under you, but our relationship primarily formed because we worked together, and then we got lucky enough to decide to hang out after that and bond. But how was that for you? Because there's a maturity and age gap between all of us, with Alex being the young, like extremely young to us. Did we say he turned 31 just now? Or
I think he turned 31.
he turned 31. So uh, he's, even for me, he's right 6 years younger. How is that for you, having to deal almost kids, like comparatively? It's like when you think of maturity and where we are in life, how is that for you?
Well, there are times that I compare Alex to my oldest son, Austin. Austin is 29. So they're 2 years apart. So there were times he's gotten so much better. I we've known each other 8 years, so he's matured a lot. I remember Alex, when he first started working with us, it was just like he was like so introverted, and
Yeah.
trying to get him to come out of his shell and just, to do his job, to be successful. It was a struggle, and but he did it, and I was so proud of him. And there are some moments where I'm just like, I can't with him. And of course, Kendall would always step in and take over, and she'd handle him with mom gloves. And but sometimes I look at Alex and I look at everybody. The age gap. Okay, I'm the oldest of our group, by far, so I will be 50 this year. And the youngest is Alex. He just turned 31. And I'm trying to think how many years are between me and Kendall.
What is Kendall 34 right now?
I don't know. Like I
33.
said, she's always 30 to me. Nobody ages in our group. I swear. I think that we just go through life, and maybe Alex is the only one that ages, because he was such a kid,
Yes.
when
Yes.
he started hanging out with us. And I remember thinking, he's got this cake life where he's hanging out with these people who are older, who are more successful, than where he was at that point, because he was new in his profession. And
He
we
was
would do
23 or something, right? It's been
crazy
crazy.
things like, let's go on an air balloon this weekend, and we would. And let's just do, turnaround trip to Vegas to go do an escape room, and we would do it. And Alex was always in tow with us. He was like the little brother that was just like, come on, let's go, let's just get in. And he never complained. He was just like, oh, okay. And he would just get in. We call him the serial killer in our group, because the way he smiles in pictures, he has black glasses, and he just like has this blank stare with this smile. And we're like, can you smile like a normal person? You look like a serial killer. Um, but now it's just like the joke. But I feel like, I mean, we've gone through kids, we've gone through divorces, we've gone through losses,
Yes.
we've gone through every gamut. And I think that in our friendship group, there's no age. It doesn't, I don't ever feel like you guys are way younger than me. Sometimes you can hang out with people and they want to do stuff, and it's kind of like, okay, uh, I can't do that because that could kill me, and I have too much to lose at this point in my life. Um, but with us, I don't think that, I think when there's that true bond, there's not really an age. You don't see an age. I have some friends that are so completely younger than me that I think, gosh, I could be your like mom. And it's kind of creepy when you think about it in that way, but at the same time, when you're truly friends with someone, it doesn't matter their age, because you don't see that. You don't see it. It's not like high school where it's like, well, how old is he? How old is she? Um, and the maturity level, I think, for all of us is equal. Um, Even for Alex, I think he acts a little bit older. And I don't know if that's because of us, but he's just, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess, the age gap is not, I feel like I don't, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody else in my group. For me, it's like a mute point. It doesn't, I don't look, I don't look at Kendall. Like I said, to me, anytime somebody asks me how old she is, I'm like, I think she's 30. She's been 30 for years. Because I remember her 30th. And Alex is still a kid to me. So when I look at Alex, I think of my son Austin, and Austin is, no matter how old that kid gets, he's still just a little kid to me.
Yeah.
So Alex is always going to be that, just like my kid. He's going to be like, my son. And sometimes I snap at him and talk to him like I would my kid. And I'm like, Alex, knock it off. Um, and then with you, I honestly don't even know how old you are. I remember your 30th. I
Right.
think in my head you've aged a little bit because your 30th party was off the hook. And but that was like right in the beginning of our relationship. So I feel like we've all grown so much from those moments.
Yeah. I think what's significant for me is the biggest moments I can remember of my adulthood have been with you guys, even though you weren't there from when I graduated high school. From the moment you guys enter my life, there's just been so many significant events, and I don't think that they're significant because life threw them at us. I think they've been significant because together we've made them that way. My 30th birthday party, it's funny you bring that up, but I always reflect back on that and how hard you guys went with my mom. I just can't believe all of the pieces that you guys were able to put together. And I know at first my mom wanted to do it as a surprise party, but then getting me involved and saying, what do you actually want? Who do you want there? And making it as big as it was. A really, it could have been a wedding.
Yeah, but never have I ever in my life been assigned to a committee to plan a birthday party, because Morris's mom approached me. She also worked with us, and she came up to me and she said, we're getting ready to plan Morris's birthday. And I said, okay, what can I do? What do you need me to do? I'm here to help. And she said, well, we have a committee and I want you on one of those committees. And I'm like, okay. Um, Never heard of a birthday committee, but okay, let's do it. And she went balls to the wall. And I mean, even down to, we had an escape room bus that Morris found that drove up, and it was pretty cool. Um, but it was the one of the biggest parties that was full of family and friends, just so much love that was in that place. With your family, your military friends, all your work friends. There were so many people there from where we worked. It was one of those that, it was a party that I don't think anybody will forget. And
Yeah.
you know what? I was looking at pictures on my phone and I found some pictures from your party, because I have pictures of Courtney and Levi. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen those people in forever. But I do have some pictures of people that were there. And it was just like, they were there. Yeah, I forgot that they were there. Um, so it was just cool, but never, when your mom did stuff, she did it. It was, her heart was in everything she did. She was extreme. It was never just like when she invited her and my middle son were very close.
Yes.
And he was asking her one day, soul food, what is that? What is it like? Because he's just like, my mom doesn't cook like that. My dad doesn't cook like that. What is it? And she's like, what, I'm going to cook for you. And he's like, okay, bet, I'll be there. So me and the boys came over. Me, Harrison, and Luke went to Morris's house, and his mom cooked so many different meals for that one day for Harrison, because she wanted him to try, gosh, what was it, Morris? She made chicken, she made beef, she made fried
Mac and
chicken.
cheese,
Oh my gosh, collard
beans.
greens. Just kids. There were so many different meals that she made, and I was like, "Did you like cook all day, Charlotte?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I made it for the boys." And there was so much food, and they ate so much. And still to this day, they talk about that when Charlotte made them all that food. Um, because her and I don't know what it was with Harrison. He's an old soul, I think, and her and him just clicked. And if she needed something, he was there, and he just loved her.
Yeah, sometimes I didn't even know they were
It was
meeting up, right?
Yeah,
Harrison would come
it
over
was
and
a
I'd be like,
weird
okay.
thing. And I remember that was one of the hardest things to ever have to tell my son when she passed away.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And that's probably one of the most important parts of our friendship to me is how we've shown up for each other in those hard, devastating moments. Because you guys were there for me that whole walk of watching her get weaker and weaker, and to her last week at the hospital, to her last breath. Like, you guys were just there the whole way through, and I couldn't imagine going through that time without you guys. I really can't. I don't know if I would have come out the other side as stable as I did.
Well, and I don't think we were there for you. I think we were there for us. We all showed up differently. Kendall was Mama Kendall,
Hmm.
taking care of business. But I don't know. I think that, like I said, you have bonds with people, and you meet so many people in your life. And if you think back to from when you graduated high school as an adult officially, how many people you've known in your life that have come and gone in your life, and it's kind of like, yeah, I used to talk to that person, but I don't talk to them anymore. I don't think that I will ever have a point in my life where it's like, yeah, I used to talk to Morris, but I don't talk to him anymore. I could not talk to you for, I don't know, what's the longest military duty you've done, like 6 months?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think we've gone 6 months, but it's like the second we can, we get together and we spend time together. And even if it's just like a quick dinner at Kendall's house where we all get together, we eat dinner and we all go home because we got to go to work and we've got lives, and we squeeze in the moments we can. Um, I think sometimes you just have those bonds that last forever, and they're very rare. I feel like people don't have, in your friend circle, you have people that mean everything to you, but life gets in the way. Life is messy. I tell my staff all the time, I get it, because life is messy and life is hard. But I think even in our messiest and our hardest, we know we have each other. All we have to do is make one phone call or send one text, and we never have to worry about it. When I went through my divorce, Kendall was there for me every step of the way. I remember coming home to her house because I stayed with her, and life was just hard. It was like heavy. And every night I'd come home and there'd be a fresh watermelon margarita sitting on the counter for me. And I was just like, it was to help me sleep, help me relax. I was taking like a ton of Benadryl to make me sleep because it was just everything was heavy. And I got through it all because I had people like you guys there to support me through it. And I'm not a person that puts a lot of stuff out there. I'm very private, even with you guys. But I think that's just my background and my roots of who I am. But I don't really have to say anything. I don't have to tell Kendall I'm having a bad time. I don't have to call and say anything. Kendall will just be like, we're getting together. But I think because Kendall is still part of my life completely. We see each other at work still. She's not under me, but she is in the same place that I am. And I think that just having a conversation sometimes, or we just know. And same thing with you, Morris. I think Alex is very. I'm introverted, and I'll admit that Alex is the extreme.
He is the
Um,
extreme.
he's he's the guy that we got to, like, even on his birthday, it's like, hello, are you there? Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
uh,
this past birthday, it's like, hey, what happened, Alex? We're all saying happy birthday. Like, did you you
Thank
don't see these
you.
messages?
But that's Alex.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but I feel like, I don't know, no matter how we show up for each other, messy or not, we're there. And it's a rarity because people don't make bonds like that anymore. It's just not what we have in our lives. It's about the quick and the fast and moving on, and people are disposable. And I don't know, I have a ton of friends, but my circle is very, very small. People that know everything about me are probably you guys. And even then, there's some people that don't know anything about me and that they're my friends. I talk to them, I hang out with them, but you keep parts of your life private, and parts of your life you put out there. And I'm the type of person, I'll put a lot out. And like Morris, you're very, very social. You're like the extreme social of our group. He's like the busy bee. He's always got something going on. If you want to get together for a quick like a quick coffee, great, he'll squeeze you in somewhere, and it may be like at midnight, but at least he's going to squeeze you in. um he also, like, tea parties. So I wanted to go to a tea party, and I was asking people that I work with, I'm like, hey, do you want to go to a tea party? And they looked at me like I was smoking crack. They're like, tea party? What? So one of the girls did go with me, Arlene. And she's like, you know what? I'll go because you guys were all busy. Everybody had something going on. And I was just craving, like, the solace of a tea party. And if you've never been to an honest tea party, not like a tea house where you get boba, I'm talking, you sit down, you order like a queen's tea or Elizabeth's tea or whatever. And they bring it out, and you get the sandwiches and the scones and the tea and all the stuff that comes with it. If you've never had that and you've never done it in your life, you should experience it at least once. It gives you a new respect for just the timeless sit down and have tea. People think having tea is just coming over, let me boil some water and pour it over some tea leaves, and here's your tea. Um, but we started having tea parties, and every once in a while, I don't know what it is for me. I think it's just the slow down, like, stop and relax. Everything's going to be fine. Just have some tea. Go to a tea party. So we do tea parties every once in a while, and that's one of my favorite things that we do. I made the mistake and took Luke. He's labeled my shadow because everywhere I go, he goes. And when I went with Arlene, we went to Chato in Pasadena, and he was just like, okay, I guess I'll go. And I'm like, well, you don't really have a choice. You're going. And so it was me, Arlene. She brought her grandson, and Luke. And afterwards, Luke's like, when's the next tea party? He's like, because that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was quiet.
Well, I think we think tea parties are for females only, right? When we talk about tea parties, we imagine like it's
Everybody thinks
just a girl
the big
thing.
red hats and dressing up. You can show up in jeans and flip flops. Nobody cares.
Right, right. We dressed up for the last one we went to, but I think that's because we just wanted to dress like we like dressing up
No,
sometimes.
it was David's wife, Myra, that was like, oh, well, I'm gonna wear this. And I'm like, I know everybody could hear my eyes rolling. And I'm like, damn it. Now I have to get dressed up to go to tea, because if I'm not in scrubs and I'm not in my work wear, I'm in jeans,
Right.
tops. I want to be comfortable. If I have to get dressed up, I will. But that was like a Saturday, and I was like, really, Kendall? So I was
Hey,
telling
I
Kendall.
I felt I could feel it, and I was like, I'm not letting you guys get dressed up, and I'm not dressed up.
So I that place we went to was really nice. It was in Upland. It was a coochie. What was it called?
You're almost on it. Cutery, cute,
A
something.
cootery tea or something
Yeah.
like that. Um, it's in Upland. It's a mom and pop. I'm going to plug them in right here. A mom and pop tea place. It's very personalized. They are, like, hands down. it was amazing. They do everything themselves. She makes her own tea. Um, and what you find when you drink tea is you can get it out of a bag, which is like Lipton's, or you can have it if you have what's it called? What are they called when they make
Loose
it?
leaf.
No, the like a I want to say chemist, but that's not the word for it.
Oh,
There's a term for it. Somebody who like gets the flavors and actually makes the tea what it is, and that's what she does. She puts in syrups. She creates the tea and creates the flavor of what you get with that tea, and that's hard to find because you most people just think it's just these tea leaves and you put it together and you let it steep and you drink it.
I see.
But there's a lot behind the tea part.
Yep.
Um, so, anyways, I don't even remember what your question was. We're like way off track, I'm sure.
No, it's great. It's good. So, okay, we talked about how people don't do friendship anymore. Not at this level, almost like being this close and vulnerable and trustworthy. And I think even there's some dependency that we allow ourselves to have in one another. Not dependency like I need you to live, but dependency. I When I say Summer is my best friend, I know it. I know that the whole term of it is applied, even though I don't have expectations. I don't think, oh, well, Summer has to text me every whatever, or Summer has to respond to my text this fast, or I have to see Summer. But it's like I know that you're on the other side, and when I really need you, you will come through for me, whatever that looks like. Whatever you can provide for me at the time of my need, you will provide. And you know that I would obviously do the same. But why do you think that people are not bonding in this way anymore? And what do you say to our audience about how to get here where we are?
Um, I don't even want to say it's a similarity because not one of us is the same. Kendall, she is completely different from me. If you look at us personality wise, we we are polar opposites. I want to say me and Alex are probably more common because I'm a little bit more introverted. At work, I'm forced to be extroverted. So that takes everything out of me. So I come home and this is my haven. And I'm good with not going out. I'm good with staying in all weekend. Kendall's the opposite. She's a doer. She's constantly on the go, just like you, but you guys are two like different types of doers. I think it's just not the ex not that anybody expects anything from us. Um, except maybe from Alex. We do expect some kind of response once in a while from him just to know he's alive because he
Right.
just won't respond. But I feel like maybe it's the you guys have shown up so many different times, whether it be little or big in my life, just for things that minute or huge. You guys have been there, whether it's just by text, like, "Hey, if you need anything, let me know." Just knowing you're there is what gives me enough. And when I do need somebody, I can like I sent out that, hey, you know what? We need to go. I just need to get together. And we went out and we just had dinner. Um, it's those moments I think that sometimes you still need people in your life, even though your life's set. I'm busy. I've got Luke, I've got football, I've got work. Between those, I mean, my work is consuming. I work 6 days a week. Um, so I only get 1 day a week off. And typically that's spent with my boyfriend. And it's hard. I don't have time. But I think it's the commitment we put. And I don't think our relationship isn't based off of like going out to party and how many invites we give. For example, we can invite David to everything that we do, and he's not going to show up. And we know that. Sometimes we get a little itchy about it, but we know that. But we will always continually ask him and invite him because someday he'll show up. And when he needs friends, we're there for him. And that I think it's just an unspoken like bond. And when you've been around people for as long as we have, 8 years, you don't just give up on that. I don't know if that's more old school thinking, but I mean, we're just not fair weather friends. if I didn't talk to you and it got past 6 months, um, even if I don't see your face because you're halfway across the country, I'm still going to just send you a message. Hey, how you doing? Just want to make sure you're okay.
Right.
And that alone means everything sometimes, that somebody just cares enough. And I don't know society wise why things are different. I don't know if we let our lives get so busy and heavy, and we get so consumed with what's happening in the moment, and we forget that, you know what, sometimes we do have people to lean on, or sometimes people might need us for different reasons. But I as cliche as it sounds, I think God put you guys, all four of you, in my life for a different reason. Everyone shows up differently. Everyone gives me something different, and it's not expected. I don't call Morris and be like, oh, this is what I need from Morris. I just, you know what? Sometimes I just need his vision. You're the one person in my life that can talk smack to me and has enough balls to do it. Um, and tell me that I need to get back on the right track. And most people won't say that to me and don't do that to me. But I take it from you because I know what you're telling me is coming from your heart and it's got good intent behind it. And I just think, like I said before, showing up for each other, being loyalty, being trusting. We're very transparent with each other. I don't think we hide things from each other. We don't keep secrets. We don't talk. Well, I can't say that because we do talk smack. I'm sitting here talking smack about Alex because he never responds. Um, but we do it openly because we say it in front of each other. It's not like I'm going behind your back saying anything. We say it to each other in front of each other. If you're not showing up, we're going to call you on it. And then we expect you to show up. And I think that's the difference, is the only expectancy we have from each other is to show up. And even if it's to show up by phone and just be like, hey, I'm here. I support you. When we flew out to go see you in South Carolina, David, he's got little kids. It's harder for him. And we understand that. So the expectation of him coming with us wasn't there because we knew that ask was just, it was an unreasonable ask. And I think that we understand everybody's situation and where they're at and in that spot. Nobody got mad at David because he couldn't come because we knew that, that's hard. His kids are they're under 5, right?
Yeah, they're still,
So
yep,
they're little. And that was last year, 2 years ago. How long ago was that?
2 years ago now.
2 years ago. So they were little. So we couldn't just expect him to get on a plane with us on a weekend and just go. Um, but I don't know what the bond is, because that's what you're asking me for. What and why? And like I said, and I seriously believe that term that people say, God puts people in your life for a reason and a season. I don't think we're seasons. I think we're lifers. Who knows what is going to happen? But I know no matter what, if I don't talk to Kendall and we don't talk for, I don't know, say our life changes and I don't talk to her for a couple of years, I know that I could probably pick up the phone and call her and she would still show up for me. Same with you, same with Alex, same with David. I don't think that in our life we could replace each other because we bring something different to the table.
So I 100% agree that there we are each unique in the way that we show up for each other. One thing I've really thought about is how important or significant I always feel in our circle. And I'm not saying that I'm made to be the most important, but I always feel important. If I accomplish like getting my drill sergeant hat and badge, you guys are hyping me up and even showing up, right? Flying across. So this is always a shocking factor when your friends say, I'm going to fly across the country and go to your graduation because it is just that important to me. You guys spent like $800 a pop on those.
I don't even know. I mean, it wasn't
Something
about
like
it wasn't about the cost.
and which I understand, but a lot of people won't do it because there's a cost. A lot of people won't do it because there's time required. A lot of people won't do it because, oh, my spouse or my significant other is more important to me, or I just can't leave them for 2 days to come to your graduation way over here. There's something, there's like a consideration that we have for each other, and I think that goes a long way.
Do you know
Even the
why
fact,
we do you wanna know why we went? Because there was conversation about us going, and the bottom line is Charlotte would have been there.
oh, that's a man,
And it
which
was close to her leaving us, so we had to show up.
I love you guys for that so much. And honestly, it meant so much to see you guys all standing there right next to my family, right? Like you guys were there with my dad, my stepmom, my brother, and here you are, like my best friends all presenting with me. I had one of the biggest groups out there, and you guys are from nowhere near. So it was incredible. It meant a lot to me, and that's something that I always think I wish my mom could have been there to see that, because that would have been like huge for her. It's so different from me being in the army band.
Well, and I think that was our big push because we knew this was something your mom wanted for you, and she wasn't gonna be there. So we needed to show up for you because you needed that support. So that's
Yep.
why we went. That's why we dropped everything and we went.
And again, it's that kind of consideration that you have, and I think that we all try to have as a group, that propels our friendship forward, because it's not just, oh well, we like the fact that we hang out together and we do what we like to do as a group. We don't just enjoy going to the tea, or we're all going to get together and do this run or escape room,
We
or I'm
do.
going to go to your house. Like we love those things, but I think in the way that we consider one another is huge. It's like really learning. It's like how you're talking about right now with, we know Alex is super introverted. So we don't push him for information. We don't push him for feelings, but we just make sure he's alive because we care. Sometimes it's Alex, just what's going on, because we haven't heard from you, not necessarily.
We look him up on Find My Friends just to make sure he's moving around.
Yeah. And I think that for me, when I look at our current status with relationships and not really honoring friendship as much, there first off, there's not this trust I think that we have in our friendship, but also consideration. It's our ability to say, I you're important enough in my life that I'm going to consider you. And considering you right now, I'm thinking of, like you guys, I'm thinking about your mom. I'm thinking about this big opportunity and this big success that you're having. I want to fly out and see it because your mom couldn't be there. That's like huge consideration that not everyone is willing to give somebody. So I would go ahead.
And I mean, I think it's the bonds you make with people that keep you there. And there's a lot of people out there that the transparency is not there. If I'm having a moment and I disconnect from you guys know it and you guys call me on it. Same with you, same with Kendall. You know, that's when we all make it a point to get together and see each other because it's like something's off. We
Yeah.
need each other. And we get together and we get grounded again and we go back out and do our own things. And then every once in a while we get together and it's like, okay, as long as we continue to stay together, we will be together. But
Yes.
if we let, you know, the world come in and take up all our time, then that's our choice. And out of respect, you respect it as a friend. And I think that's how people lose people because, oh, well, they chose this. But it's not that we're choosing anything over each other, but it's the choice to always make somebody a priority in your life. And I think that's what the difference is we may not put each other first because we have lives, we have spouses, we have boyfriends, we have kids, and we have commitments. But I think we still choose each other because we're all we have. And we need that. We need to have people that are different in our lives that are not just like us that want, everybody beats to a different drum in our group.
Yep.
Some people are like having a full on like party and some are not.
Yeah. I like how you put that very much. Like we're all different and what we bring to each other's tables is unique and significant. So but it's not a need where we say I have expectations because I never feel like there's expectations in our group. It's more of like it's a need that is greater than setting expectations. It's a need that says I know you're there for me, just like you're saying, regardless of how long we go without talking.
And I don't know, maybe it's how we started our relationships. Maybe it's how we showed up in the beginning because, when you meet someone in life, it's like, your life revolves around them. Um, Same sex, not, a new friend that you hang out with. You spend your time with those people, and then you either grow apart because somebody stabs you in the back or does something you don't like, or has some type of lifestyle thing that you don't agree with that's different. I feel like that we're all pretty straight laced, and I mean, nobody expects anything from anybody. There's never been, well, why didn't you do this? And okay, maybe from Alex, but poor Alex is getting bashed. Um, just like the response, we'll all be responding, and Alex, it's like, hello, Alex, are you there? Respond. At least say yes, say
Right.
no, say something. um those are the expectations. Our expectations are very minimal of each other, and I think as long as we continue to not have expectations, and we respect each other's lives, and we respect each other's space and where they are and whatever makes you happy, and you know what, if you're upset because of this and it may not be something I understand, I'm still going to show up for you because I care about you, and it's not about everything else. And I think because we put that all aside for each other, um I that's like the question that can never be answered is why you have the friends and the relationships you do.
Yep. I'll agree. I'll agree. One of my favorite parts about our friendship also is that you guys encourage, or I think we all do, encourage our friendships outside of each other. And even there's like even flexibility. Like when I bring you guys around my other friends, you guys are so welcoming and home. It's like home to them. And I even have some that'll say, I want to hang with you. I want to hang with them again. I want to hang with them again. And I just laugh and I'm like, because we're not like this. It's only us club, right? We don't go. It's only gonna be smacked, and you like, for example, Brian comes along
Yes.
and Myra comes along. Luke comes along. Like everyone's welcome to come join us. Not just family, but we also bring friends that may not necessarily be part of our core group, but we still like I might have friends that I love that I bring into the group. It's just because I want them to meet you guys, and so you guys can meet them. And I know Kendall has other people, right, that she also refers to as best friend. Like how do you feel about that? And I ask this because I'm going to bring up this is it a concept? Is it a theory? It's a theory. I'm going to bring up a theory after this.
Okay, so when Kendall says around me, oh, she's my best friend, I side eye her. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, what? I thought I was your best friend. You're not allowed to have other friends. Um,
So do you think that you can only have one best friend?
no,
Okay.
I obviously,
Oh yeah, because
I've
right,
got a
we're a
bunch of
group,
them,
but
but I do that just because it's, I don't know. I send her memes every once in a while when she's talking about someone, like she's hanging out with this person, or I'm like, let me send her that meme about best friends. How I'm looking at her because she said she called someone else her best friend. Um, so I'm sorry, I forgot. What was your question again?
it's my question is about not me forgetting what the question is too. It's about how we have friends outside of our core group of people and how we kind of encourage each other,
Well, you know
like bring
what?
your friends.
There might be something. Maybe there's something to that because we all have other relationships. We all have, like, I have my boyfriend. I have other friends that I hang out with. I have other people I talk to. My day's consumed with other people. It's not focused around smacked. It's not, everything is not, I don't eat, drink, breathe, and sleep smacked.
Right.
Um, I do with my kids, probably my boyfriend, but maybe because our investment isn't, I'm invested. I'm invested in our relationship. I'm invested in our friend group. But I'm also very accepting if you talk about, hey, I'm going to go hang out with Chris. I'm going to go do this. And Kendall's going to go, hang out with Tiana and do her thing. I think we're so very accepting of that. And I think maybe that might be one of the key components, because we don't have to spend every moment together, and our insecurity of needing to know somebody's there for us. We don't have that because we're secure in our relationships with each other. I know that if I don't talk to you for 6 months, I'm good, because I can pick up the phone and tell Morris, hey, you know what? Let's go get tacos. And he may not be able to squeeze me in this week because he's so stinking busy, but maybe next week he can squeeze me in. And I think maybe that's it, that we don't have those insecurities of, when someone calls someone else their best friend and we're like, what? That's
Yeah.
not your best friend. I'm your best friend. There's no jealousy there. There's no expectation of a commitment from each other.
Okay. Are you familiar with attachment theory?
No.
Okay, so attachment theory, it's psychology based, and there's like secure attachment, anxious attachment, and there's like one or two more different attachment styles. But I think, and I read this book, or I'm still reading this book called Platonic by Dr. Marissa G. Franco. And in it, because we usually talk about attachment theory more, I think, in romantic relationships, but she's using it here for platonic relationships. And I think that is an important aspect of how we are so close and how we're able to operate without expectations, even though we don't see each other regularly, and even though we have friends outside of each other that are important to us. There's a secure attachment where we believe that this friendship is good and that we're thinking about each other regardless of what's happening, regardless of who we see each other with. Or so there's the fact that Kendall's married, right? You're seeing somebody, David's married, Alex and I are single, but we have other friends. Alex travels to other places with other people, right? Now,
Oh,
not me.
a
I
lot.
sound jealous right now, but I'm like, why isn't he taking us? No, I'm just kidding. But I think that there's a secure attachment that we have with each other that allows us to operate in this manner.
Well, and I think that, so have you ever heard of the let them theory?
No, but somebody
I know
just
Robin.
mentioned to me that actually Chris's wife Ashley just mentioned to me that she wants me to read that book.
I want to read the book too. So in what I do for a living, I'm in leadership, and I have other leaders. I have co-leaders that lead with me, and we spend a lot of time together, and things get frustrating a lot. Staff's doing this person's doing this. So I started looking into her theory, because it's, you weren't invited to this meeting and now your feelings are hurt. So how are you going to act towards that? And her theory is let them not invite you. Let them be who they're going to be. Stop trying to control every situation and control yourself. And I think maybe, not that we are all living through the Mel Robbins theory of let them, but I feel like if Alex wants to be an introvert and not answer, as long as we get what does he put? All right.
All right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Um, as long as we get some kind of response, so we know he's okay, we let him be him. And you guys let me be me. You know, we let each other be who we're going to be, and we don't try to change that for each other. We don't try to push what we think this person should be. And I think that's what happens a lot in platonic relationships, even in other relationships too. We push, I don't want to say our own agenda, because that's not the right word, but we push who we want them to be in our head and in our life. And in our relationship that we have for Smacked is, we don't. Everybody, like I said, everybody shows up differently, and we accept everybody differently, and we don't try to change that. And we accept the decisions they make, whether or not it's something that we think is great for them or not. We let them. we let everybody be the person that they're supposed to be, and we
I love
accept
that so
them
much.
how they are, and we embrace them in that moment, whether or not we like it. It is what it is. It's their
Yeah.
choice, it's their happiness, and it's their pathway.
And then we still show up regardless of what happens when we say
And
let them.
we don't judge.
Yeah.
We judge wait, what does it say? What do they
We
say? We
we
listen and we
listen,
don't
but we don't judge. Yeah. That's good. That's really good.
and I think
Oh,
that's what maybe keeps us bonded is that, you know, everybody's got reasons for not getting together. Everybody's got something, and we accept it as it is.
but I always say our influence on each other is super impactful though. So even though there is this let them aspect, there's also an aspect of we encourage each other to go for more, I feel like. And sometimes that encouragement isn't even a push. Sometimes it's like, hey, I'm doing this, right? David, for example, oh, I'm running a marathon, and we have to look internally and go, well, what am I doing this weekend or whatever,
I'm laying
right?
in bed.
But there's always this push for more. Like when you got your master's degree, I'm sure the rest of us were like, I probably need to figure out what's my plan to get back into education. Like if Summer's doing this, I should be doing this too. So I think we kind of we do celebrate those victories. We allow each other to have that positive influence. But when things don't go like you're saying, we think, then we go, okay, you know what? I got to let you do what you're going to do, and I'll be there for you regardless of what happens.
Well, and I think the success part, I think we will always, because our entire group is a successful group. Um, we all have goals, we all have drive, we all work, and we drive for different things. And if one of us is falling behind, um, we'll all stand up and say, you know, well, come on, pick it up, let's go. You know,
Yeah.
when I was getting my master's and I was struggling, I remember sitting in Mimi's cafe and you bitching me out about getting it together and finishing it and getting my shit on straight. And um, you know, I got it done. But I think we fall into those little dips in life, and it's that accountability that helps because, you know, we're at a point in our lives where either our parents aren't around, or if they are, they're not super involved in our life anymore to where they can tell us, you know, what are you doing? Like my dad's not there to smack me in the back of the head and tell me get it back
Yeah.
together. Now I have my friends, and my friends are the ones that push me um, to do the things. I mean, if it weren't for you guys, why would I ever go to South Carolina?
True. That's true.
If
Very
it,
true.
you know, why would I go do a run in San Francisco? It's why would we ever go on an air balloon ride? You know, stuff like that. The extreme things that we've done together. Why would we ever do it together unless one of us came up with the brilliant idea to climb the mountain to Mount to what
Like
did we
Mount
go?
Everest or something.
Yeah. So I think that we constantly push each other in a positive way. It's never a negative way. It may feel that way sometimes when we don't like the responses we're getting, but at the same time, you guys all step back and we accept how everybody is and where they are. Sometimes people do stupid stuff. Sometimes you know, Alex will do something, or David, or Kendall, or me, and
Me
no matter
too.
what, everybody in our group, no matter what, has always just, you know what, doesn't matter. It's it's the people that we're tied to. It's not our relationship.
Well, thank you so much, Summer, for joining me this evening to talk about friendship and especially our friendship. This is the time that the audience actually gets to know more about me. So I'm sure that this episode will be very joyful for a lot of you out there. Summer, do you want to tell them if they can find you on Instagram or any of the social medias, or that's a no?
I'm You know what? I don't really do social media. I used to a long time ago, but I kind of really pulled back from that because I was spending so much time on my phone, and I feel like that was time wasted, not time spent. I'm more into time with my kids and memories. So I do have an Instagram. I don't even know what my names are, honestly. I do have Facebook, but like I said, I think if you look at the pictures that I have on there, my kids are like, I don't know, from 2016.
You'll
Um,
probably get more of Summer on my social media than on hers.
yeah, these are my friends, but I don't really post anymore. I feel like if you're close enough to me and you know me, then you don't need my social media
There we
because you
go.
know what's happening in my life. And if not, then pick up the phone and call me because I'll fill you in.
All right, audience, thank you so much for joining us today. This was Stories of Friendship with your host, Morris. And we're going to thank Summer one more time for joining us on this lovely evening. Good night.